I'm feeling like things have been sped up quite a bit, and some of it has to do with my perception, but a lot of it has to do with the speed at which other folks are trying to, my opinion, trying to find some safety, some stability, some groundedness. And when we think about whether, I don't know what media outlet, whether it's social media or a television, everybody is very stressed out and anxious about what's to happen, and that there's a lot of chaos and a lot of uncertainty. And this is the perfect time, in my mind, for us to really stop focusing so much on what's out there, even though there's danger, and focus in on what's here and finding that sweet spot, that silence, that stillness that's within, so that we're able to make some informed decisions and we're not reacting to everything that could possibly go wrong rather than focusing on what we can control, which is our reactions or response to things. So I think it's really important that we use this time to just settle back and just think about, okay, so what do I need now, or how do I feel, or how do I get to a place of comfort or stability when I know everything that I thought was important a week ago, 2 weeks ago, is no longer important. I don't have to worry about my doctor's appointment or getting to see a movie on time, or to go to dinner with a friend, or actually to take a trip out west to see a client. All of those things that were really important, they're not necessary anymore. Right now, I don't mean they won't be, but right now it's just about, staying at home and being at home, I would call it. So some of the tips for grounding ourselves is the simple simplicity of just sitting and breathing and knowing it, or just being where your body is. So having a body and mind here at the same time, and even though there's things going on, I can always, for me, it's always about just sitting and just taking a breath, or standing, taking a breath, and this resetting. I just really ask myself, okay, what do I need right now? What's the most important thing right now? And the most important thing is for me to keep my mind in the growth mode rather than fight, flight, or freeze mode. And that is creating space between stimulus and response, and just observing things and really accepting, well, what is going on now? What am I seeing? And if I can ground myself in the truth of what is right now and accept what is, and so it's awareness and then accepting, yes, this is what's happening. I don't like it, but it's what's happening. And so what's the most compassionate action I can do? And so you can see it around the country. You see some young kids, instead of being stressed out in their anxiety, they're making face masks, or they're donating their money to go buy first responder something to eat, or somebody at the hospital. So that's what it's about. It's about how can I forget myself to find myself. In other words, how can I survive, serve others? And for a lot of us, it's just staying home, staying in place, and acting as if we have the virus, so that we're not spreading it and we're not receiving it from anyone. So that means if we do go out, to have gloves and have a face mask if we need to, or to keeping that social distance. But at the same time, you can smile and still be clear about, okay, this is just for today. And I think the most important thing is to keep it in the day, keep it in the moment, and to really understand that this too shall pass. Although people don't like to hear something like that, but it's really true. Is we just got to take it a day at a time and just do what we need to do now, or do what we know to do now, and then the next step will be shown. So the idea of honoring where I am now is just to not worry about, especially a lot of my clients are athletes and they're in limbo now. Whether it's, I have a young man that plays for the NHL. It's not much happening there. He's back home. He can't practice. I don't even think his gear is here. I think his gear is still in Canada. So he has to figure out how he can just be with and honor what's here. When his gear comes, he can maybe he can skate, maybe he can't. But for the next week or two, doesn't seem like much can happen. And I have another young man who's in the NFL now. He can work out at some places, but there's everything's on hold. He doesn't know when spring training is going to happen, or the OTAs, whether it's the organized uh, team activity, OTAs, or organized training activity. He's not going to be able to participate in that. So everybody has to just do what they need to do for themselves, but just accepting this is the way it is. Now I can get upset about it and wish it's different, but at the end of the day, uh, I have to accept the fact that this is what it is, and what's my response to it, or my reaction to it, and how do I not lose myself in that, and also understand that I'm not saying everything's okay, but everything is okay. If I decide that it's okay, it's like it's okay because there's not much I can do with it. And when I work with folks, or even thinking to myself, if I'm not accepting something, then I get myself saying, "How's that stuff working for you, George?" It ain't. It's not working. Let it go to grow, or just deal with it. Okay, so there's an opportunity here for me to see. Okay, so what can I do? So strangely enough, I'm home, and there's a lot of things because I travel a lot. There's a lot of things that I haven't been able to do because I haven't been home. Now that I'm home, I can do those things. I think the important thing for me to remember is that I am wired for success. I have a masterpiece inside of me, a divine spark, Buddha nature, whatever, and that my job is how do I connect with that in this time of turbulence, of chaos. And of course, I learned from going to Sunday school, be still and know. Just to be still and just think about, well, and listening to myself, listening to what's inside. What do I need? What's really important? And understanding, just getting clarity about who I am. And okay, this is a good time for me to think about, well, who do I say I am? Or who do I want to be? What values am I living by? Am I being loving and compassionate? In spite of the fact that there's a lot of fear in the air. And can I live in the idea of, okay, how can, when fear is present, I have to use courage, or just look at, okay, so how can I make this work? How can I relate to this in a way where I'm being like water? I'm just going with the flow. I'm accepting these are the conditions, and based on what's here, how do I relate to it in a way that empowers me, that helps me to get in touch with the fact that, okay, I can make this work. One way I interpret what's going on right now is that it's forcing us, or suggesting to me that I need to slow things down. Things are going too fast, and I'm doing all these things and trying to keep up with everything. And right now is a great opportunity to just stop and just to reflect on what I'm doing, and just really just put everything on hold, and just be with myself. So it's more about being. How do I feel? Just what does it feel like to be just sitting here with nothing to do and no place to go? But at the same time, how do I know I'm being myself? How do I know I'm living according to what my values are, instead of reacting to things and worrying about things that haven't really happened yet? And as long as I have food, clothing, and shelter now, maybe that's enough. And I need to just slow things down and just think about, okay, let's do the one thing. Let's just focus on me being here now. And if it's dinner time, then I need to get food and eat. And when I eat, can I just sit and eat and chew the food and not gobble it down like we normally do, because we have something we have to get done. So we got to squeeze in the food. And now we have plenty of time to take the time to make the dishes, the meals we like to make. We have time to just sit and actually say grace before we eat. Bless the food.